On October 1, 2017, a mass shooting occurred when 64-year-old Stephen Paddock opened fire on the crowd attending the Route 91 Harvest Music Festival on the Las Vegas Strip in Nevada from his 32nd floor suite in the Mandalay Bay Hotel. He fired more than 1,000 rounds, killing 60 people, and wounding at least 413. The ensuing panic brought the total number of injured to approximately 867. About an hour later, he was found dead in his room from a self-inflicted gunshot wound. The motive for the shooting is officially undetermined. The incident is the deadliest mass shooting by one gunman in American history. It focused attention on firearms laws in the U.S., particularly about bump stocks, which Paddock used to fire shots in rapid succession at a rate similar to that of automatic firearms. Bump stocks were banned by the U.S. Justice Department in December 2018, but the ban was overturned by the Supreme Court for lacking a legislative basis in 2024. Background. Location. The Las Vegas Strip is a stretch of Las Vegas Boulevard immediately south of the city of Las Vegas in Clark County, Nevada. The Strip is known for its concentration of casinos and resort hotels, including the 43-story Mandalay Bay southwest of its intersection with Mandalay Bay Road, in the unincorporated town of Paradise. Las Vegas Village, a 15-acre, 6-hectare lot used for outdoor performances, was located diagonally across the intersection to the northeast and owned by MGM Resorts International. 7. From 2014 onward, the venue hosted the annual Route 91 Harvest Country Music Festival. The 2017 festival ran from September 29 to October 1, with over 22,000 attendees on the final day. Perpetrator. Main article. Stephen Paddock. Stephen Paddock was a 64-year-old former auditor and real estate businessman who had been living 80 miles, 130 kilometers, northeast of Las Vegas in a retirement community in Mesquite, Nevada. He was twice divorced, had a long-term girlfriend, and had no known children. He was the son of Benjamin Paddock, a bank robber who was on the FBI's most wanted list between 1969 and 1977. Paddock's only recorded interactions with law enforcement were traffic citations. Paddock was a high-stakes gambler who placed bets at a high enough level to earn valuable comps, free benefits such as rooms and meals. He was a familiar figure to casino hosts in Las Vegas, but was not well known among other high-stakes gamblers because he mostly played single-player video poker. He reportedly kept to himself and was a heavy drinker. Paddock had lost a significant amount of his wealth over the previous 2 years, but had paid off all gambling debts before the shooting. In the year before the shooting, Paddock's girlfriend noted a change in his demeanor. He had become increasingly distant, and their relationship was no longer intimate. Preparation. According to his girlfriend, Paddock repeatedly cased Las Vegas Village from different windows in their room when they stayed at the Mandalay Bay a month before the shooting. Paddock also may have considered attacking previous events. He had researched large-scale venues in cities such as Boston since at least May 2017 and had reserved a room overlooking the August 2017 Lollapalooza Festival in Chicago, but did not use it. From September 17th, Paddock stayed at the Ogden in downtown Las Vegas, which overlooked the open-air Life is Beautiful festival that ran from September 22nd to 24th. Paddock's internet search terms from mid-September included SWAT weapons, ballistics chart 308, SWAT Las Vegas, and do police use explosives. Paddock arrived at Mandalay Bay on September 25, 2017, and booked into room 32 to 135, a complimentary room on the 32nd floor. 4 days later, he also checked into the directly connected room 32 to 134. Both suites overlook the site of the concert at Las Vegas Village. During his stay at Mandalay Bay, Paddock spent much of his time gambling, usually at night. He interacted with employees more than 10 times, including twice on the day of the shooting. An MGM Resorts International spokesperson said all the interactions were normal in nature. Cell phone records show that he also made multiple visits to his home in Mesquite. With help from hotel bellmen, he brought 5 suitcases to his room on September 25th, 7 on the 26th, 2 on the 28th, 6 on the 30th, and 2 on October 1st. On September 30th, he placed "Do Not Disturb" signs on the doors of both rooms. Weaponry. 24 firearms, a large quantity of ammunition, and numerous high-capacity magazines capable of holding up to 100 rounds apiece were found in the suite. 14 of the firearms were .223 caliber AR-15 type semi-automatic rifles, 3 manufactured by Colt, 2 by Daniel Defense, 2 by FN Herstal, 2 by LWRC International, 2 by POF USA, 1 with a .223 Wild Chamber by Christensen Arms, 1 made to order by LMT, and 1 by Novesk. The others were 8.308 caliber AR-10 type rifles, 1.308 caliber Ruger American bolt action rifle, and 1.38 caliber Smith & Wesson Model 342 revolver. Some of the AR-15 rifles were fitted with vertical forward grips and bump stocks, the latter of which allowed for recoil to actuate their triggers at a rate of 90 rounds in 10 seconds. The AR-10 rifles were equipped with various telescopic sights and mounted on bipods. Paddock was found to have fired a total of 1,058 rounds from 15 of the firearms, 1,049 from 12 AR-15 style rifles, 8 from 2 AR-10 style rifles, and the round used to kill himself from the Smith & Wesson revolver. During the subsequent investigation, the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms and Explosives determined that the firearms found in his hotel room, along with more guns found in his homes, had been legally purchased in Nevada, California, Texas, and Utah. In the month preceding the shooting, he had attempted to purchase tracer ammunition, but the gun dealer he approached did not have the item in stock. He bought tracer ammunition from a private seller at a gun show in Phoenix, Arizona. In addition, ammonium nitrate, often used in improvised explosive devices, was found in the trunk of his Hyundai Tucson SUV, along with 1,600 rounds of ammunition and 50 pounds, 23 kilograms, of tannerite, a binary explosive used to make explosive targets for gun ranges. Undersheriff Kevin McMahill said that while Paddock had nefarious intent with the material, he did not appear to have assembled an explosive device. Attack. Schematic of the shooting scene. Paddock indiscriminately fired rifle rounds from the 32nd floor of the Mandalay Bay Hotel toward the concertgoers at Las Vegas Village. The mass shooting occurred between 10:05 p.m. and 10:15 p.m. on October 1, 2017, which was the third and final night of the festival. When the shooting began, country music singer Jason Aldean was giving the closing performance. Shortly before 10 p.m., hotel security guard Jesus Campos was sent to the 32nd floor to investigate an open-door alert. He attempted to open a door that provided immediate access to the floor but found that it would not open. After Campos entered the floor, he discovered an L-shaped bracket screwed into the door and door frame, which prevented the door from opening. After reporting the discovery to his dispatch center, he heard what he thought was the sound of rapid drilling coming from room 32 to 135 and went to investigate the matter. At approximately 10:05 p.m., he was hit in the right thigh by one of about 35 bullets that Paddock fired through the door of his suite. After Campos was hit, he took cover in the alcove between rooms 32 to 122 and 32 to 124 and immediately At the same time, maintenance worker Stephen Shuck was on the same floor to fix the door that Campos had opened as being barricaded. He already wounded Campos and covered Shuck.
What is it? I know, but I have to stand up. You understand? I have to stand up. Stay outside.
We're going to get trampled if we don't go.
We're going to get trampled if we don't go. Let's go. We're going to get trampled. Oh my
It's fireworks! It's fireworks! Stop! It's fireworks!
Shooting. A security fence hindered concertgoers from entering the 15-acre, 6-hectare concrete lawn. The gunfire continued, with some momentary pauses, for over 10 minutes and ended by 10:15 p.m. During these pauses, during reloading, and while the assailant was confronting Campos, most concertgoers down below were able to flee the venue. In addition to shooting at the concertgoers, Paddock fired 8 bullets on a large jet fuel tank at McCarran International Airport 2,000 feet, 600 meters away. 2 of those bullets struck the exterior of the tank, with 1 bullet penetrating the tank. The fuel did not explode because jet fuel is mostly kerosene, which is unlikely to ignite when struck by a bullet. During the shooting, police officers were initially confused about whether the shots were coming from the Mandalay Bay, the nearby Luxor Hotel, or the festival grounds. There were also multiple false reports of additional shooters at other hotels on the Strip. Officers eventually spotted multiple muzzle flashes in the middle of the northern side of Mandalay Bay and responded to the alarm. At 10:12 p.m., 2 officers on the 31st floor reported the sounds of gunfire on the floor above them. When officers arrived on the 32nd floor at 10:17 p.m. and encountered Campos a minute later, he directed them to Paddock's room and helped others evacuate. Campos was then directed to seek medical attention for himself. Between 10:26 p.m. and 10:30 p.m., 8 additional officers arrived at the 32nd floor. Some of those officers manually breached the door panel, had screwed shut with the button. The gunfire had ceased, and the police moved systematically down the hallway, searching and clearing each room, using a master key that was provided by Campos. At 10:55 p.m., the officers finished evacuating the exits. At 11:20 p.m., over an hour after the initial officers arrived on the 32nd floor, police breached room 32 to 135 with explosives. Paddock was found dead on the floor from a self-inflicted gunshot wound to the head. Police then breached room 32 to 134. While entering the hotel suite, the officer accidentally fired a 3-round burst from his weapon, but the bullets did not hit anyone. At 11:27 p.m., the officers announced over the police radio that a suspect was due. Immediate response. McCarran Airport, adjacent to the shooting site, was shut down for several hours. Approximately 300 people entered the airport grounds as they fled from the shooting. This prompted officials to shut down all 4 runways. More than 25 flights were rerouted to ensure that no aircraft would be hit by gunfire, while other flights were canceled before airfield operations resumed at 12:40 a.m. on October 2nd. Much of Las Vegas Boulevard was closed while police SWAT teams combed the venue and neighboring businesses. At approximately 2:45 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time on October 2nd, a state of emergency was declared in Clark County. Early on October 2nd, Sheriff Lombardo identified the suspect as Stephen Paddock. On October 1st, 2017, a mass shooting occurred when 64-year-old Stephen Paddock opened fire on the crowd attending the Route 91 Harvest Music Festival on the Las Vegas Strip in Nevada from his 32nd floor suite in the Mandalay Bay Hotel. He fired
really
more than
don't
1,000
see
rounds,
anybody
killing 60 people,
actually injured.
and wounding at least 413. The ensuing panic brought the total number of injured to approximately 867. About an hour later, he was found dead in his room from a self-inflicted gunshot wound. The motive for the shooting is officially undetermined. The incident is the deadliest mass shooting by one gunman in American history. It focused attention on firearms laws in the U.S., particularly about bump stocks, which Paddock used to fire shots in rapid succession at a rate similar to that of automatic firearms. 4. Bump stocks were banned by the U.S. Justice Department in December 2018, but the ban was overturned by the Supreme Court for lacking a legislative basis in 2024. Background. Location. The Las Vegas Strip is a stretch of Las Vegas Boulevard immediately south of the city of Las Vegas in Clark County, Nevada. The Strip is known for its concentration of casinos and resort hotels, including the 43-story Mandalay Bay southwest of its intersection with Mandalay Bay Road, in the unincorporated town of Paradise. Las Vegas Village, a 15-acre, 6-hectare lot used for outdoor performances, was located diagonally across the intersection to the northeast and owned by MGM Resorts International. 6. 7. From 2014 onward, the venue hosted the annual Route 91 Harvest Country Music Festival. The 2017 festival ran from September 29th to October 1st, with over 22,000 attendees on the final day. Perpetrator. Main article. Stephen Paddock. Stephen Paddock was a 64-year-old former auditor and real estate businessman who had been living 80 miles, 130 kilometers, northeast of Las Vegas in a retirement community in Mesquite, Nevada. He was twice divorced, had a long-term girlfriend, and had no known children. He was the son of Benjamin Paddock, a bank robber who was on the FBI's most wanted list between 1969 and 1977. Paddock's only reported interactions with law enforcement were traffic citations. Paddock was a high-stakes gambler who placed bets at a high enough level to earn valuable funds, free benefits such as rooms and meals. He was a familiar figure to the city of Las Vegas, but was not well known among other high-stakes gamblers because he mostly played single-player video poker. He reportedly had to himself as a heavy drinker. Paddock had lost a significant amount of his wealth over the previous 2 years, but had paid off all gambling debts in the shooting. In the year before the shooting, Paddock's girlfriend noted a change in his demeanor. He had become increasingly distant, and their relationship was no longer intimate. Preparation. According to his girlfriend, Paddock repeatedly paced Las Vegas Village from different windows in Nevada, and he stayed at the Mandalay Bay Inn before the shooting. Paddock also may have considered attacking previous events. He had researched large-scale weddings and citizens of Austin since at least May 2017. Paddock served the role of overwhelming August 2017 From September 17th, Paddock stayed at the Ogden in downtown Las Vegas, which overlooked the Open Air Life is Beautiful festival that ran from September 22nd to 24th. Paddock's internet search terms from mid-September included SWAT weapons, ballistics chart 308, SWAT Las Vegas, and do police use explosives? Paddock arrived at Mandalay Bay on September 25th, 2017, and booked into room 32 to 135, a complimentary room on the 32nd floor. 4 days later, he also checked into the directly connected room 32 to 134. Both suites overlook the site of the concert at Las Vegas Village. During his stay at Mandalay Bay, Paddock spent much of his time gambling, usually at night. He interacted with employees more than 10 times, including twice on the day of the shooting. An MGM Resorts International spokesperson said all the interactions were normal in nature. Cell phone records show that he also made multiple visits to his home in Mesquite. With help from hotel bellmen, he brought 5 suitcases to his room on September 25th, 7 on the 26th, 2 on the 28th, 6 on the 30th, and 2 on October 1st. On September 30th, he placed "Do Not Disturb" signs on the doors of both rooms. Weaponry. 24 firearms, a large quantity of ammunition, and numerous high-capacity magazines capable of holding up to 100 rounds apiece were found in the suite. 14 of the firearms were .223 caliber AR-15 type semi-automatic rifles, 3 manufactured by Colt, 2 by Daniel Defense, 2 by FN Herstal, 2 by LWRC International, 2 by POF USA, 1 with a .223 Wild Chamber by Christensen Arms, 1 made to order by LMT, and 1 by Novesk. The others were 8.308 caliber AR-10 type rifles, 1.308 caliber Ruger American bolt action rifle, and 1.38 caliber Smith & Wesson Model 342 revolver. Some of the AR-15 rifles were fitted with vertical forward grips and bump stocks, the latter of which allowed for recoil to actuate their triggers at a rate of 90 rounds in 10 seconds. The AR-10 rifles were equipped with various telescopic sights and mounted on bipods. Paddock was found to have fired a total of 1,058 rounds from 15 of the firearms, 1,049 from 12 AR-15 style rifles, 8 from 2 AR-10 style rifles, and the round used to kill himself from the Smith & Wesson revolver. During the subsequent investigation, the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives determined that the firearms found in his hotel room, along with more guns found in his homes, had been legally purchased in Nevada, California, Texas, and Utah. In the month preceding the shooting, he had attempted to purchase tracer ammunition, but the gun dealer he approached did not have the item in stock. He bought tracer ammunition from a private seller at a gun show in Phoenix, Arizona. In addition, ammonium nitrate, often used in improvised explosive devices, was found in the trunk of his Hyundai Tucson SUV, along with 1,600 rounds of ammunition and 50 pounds, 23 kilograms, of tannerite, a binary explosive used to make explosive targets for gun ranges. Undersheriff Kevin McMahill said that while Paddock had nefarious intent with the material, he did not appear to have assembled an explosive device. Victims. Dead. There were 60 deaths, not including that of Paddock. The immediate dead comprised 58 victims, 36 women and 22 men, all of whom died from gunshot wounds. The oldest was 67, the youngest was 20. 34 were from California, 6 from Nevada, 4 from Canada, 2 each from Alaska and Utah, and 1 each from Arizona, Colorado, Iowa, Minnesota, Massachusetts, New Mexico, Pennsylvania, Tennessee, Washington, West Virginia, and Wisconsin. 31 of the victims were pronounced dead at the scene. 27 died from their wounds at hospitals, the last on October 3rd, 2 days after the shooting. 1. Paddock's suicide was the only death at the Mandalay Bay Hotel. A 57-year-old woman from California, who had been paralyzed in the shooting, died more than 2 years later on November 15, 2019. On August 24, 2020, the San Bernardino County Medical Examiner officially attributed her death to the shooting, though the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department, LVMPD, declined at the time to include her in the official death toll. 1. The LVMPD also initially declined to include a 49-year-old Nevada woman who died from complications of a leg wound on May 26, 2020. The department revised its decision, however, and on October 1, 2020, included both women in the count. In 2023, a probate case determined that the shares of Paddock's estate would be distributed among the families of 61 victims, though the attorney who handled the case declined to disclose the identity of the 61st person or how they died. The Las Vegas Review-Journal reported that the 61st person was a survivor who died by suicide after the shooting. The incident is the deadliest mass shooting committed by an individual in the United States, exceeding the death toll of the 2016 Orlando nightclub shooting, in which 49 people were killed. Injured. Approximately 867 people were injured, at least 413 of them with gunshot wounds or shrapnel injuries. In the aftermath, many victims were transported to area hospitals, which included the University Medical Center of Southern Nevada, Sunrise Hospital and Medical Center, and at least one of the 6 hospitals of Valley Health System. Sunrise Hospital treated the largest portion of the wounded, 199 patients, 150 of whom arrived within about 40 minutes. University Medical Center treated 104 patients. Additionally, 6 victims sought medical treatment in Southern California. UC Irvine Medical Center treated 4 and Loma Linda University Medical Center treated 2. Many victims of the shooting required blood transfusions, which totaled 499 components in the first 24 hours of treatment. This blood was rapidly replaced by available blood from local and national blood banks. University Medical Center, the Level 1 trauma center in Las Vegas, was difficult to access for the more than 50% of patients transported by private vehicles because Interstate 15, the most direct route from the shooting location, was closed to the public. Also, an erroneous emergency services announcement made 1 hour after the shooting reported UMC had reached capacity and was on diversion. This confusion persisted for several hours and led to most patients being transported to Sunrise, a Level 2 trauma center. On the morning after the shooting, lines to donate blood in Las Vegas stretched for blocks, and wait times were as much as 6 hours or more. 84. In Las Vegas alone, 800 units of blood were donated to the local blood bank in the days following the shooting, and the American Red Cross reported a 53% increase in blood donation in the 2 days following the shooting. It was later reported that over 15% of the blood donated in Las Vegas after the shooting went unused, prompting questions about the benefit of widespread calls for blood donation following mass shootings. Millions of dollars have also been raised to help victims and their families. Recipients of awards for bravery. Civilian. Martin Heffernan, Assistant Scoutmaster, was honored by Boy Scouts of America for demonstrating unusual heroism and extraordinary skill in saving or attempting to save a life at extreme risk to self with the Honor Award with crossed palms. Brittany Spear, an EMT at UCLA, received a Medal of Courage from the University of California Police Department, UCPD, for her bravery in setting up a triage area and treating victims while the shooter was still active. She is the only civilian in medical services to receive this honor. Military. Trooper Ross Woodward, a British soldier from the 1st the Queen's Dragoon Guards, who was off-duty at a nearby hotel when the shooting began, was awarded the Queen's Commendation for bravery for his actions during the event. 89. His citation stated that he consciously, deliberately, and repeatedly advanced towards danger, moving people to safety and treating casualties. Matthew Kobos, a U.S. Army soldier, received the 2018 Single Act of Heroism Award from the Congressional Medal of Honor Society for shielding and providing life-saving medical treatment to injured concert-goers. An image of Kobos protecting a young woman by photographer David Becker went viral, and he was later identified by the Army. Sergeant Austin Cox and Sergeant Michael Vera, the helicopter mechanic with the U.S. Marines at Camp Pendleton, received the Navy and Marine Corps Medal, the highest non-combat decoration awarded for heroism by the Department of the Navy, for braving gunfire to save victims and getting them out of the line of fire. Petty Officer First Class Brian Motzi, with the U.S. Navy, who was attending the event with his wife, was awarded the Navy and Marine Corps Medal for his actions. Petty Officer Second Class Tracy Huddleston of the United States Coast Guard received the Coast Guard Medal for her actions in response to the shooting. Huddleston was awarded for Demonstrat, ing remarkable initiative, exceptional fortitude, and daring despite imminent personal danger. Sergeant Chasen Brown with the Utah Army National Guard was awarded the Medal of Valor for saving at least half a dozen other concertgoers. For 60 to 90 minutes after the shooting stopped, he continued to assess and aid casualties. Police. Detective Connor O'Donnell of the Rhode Island State Police, who had attended the event with his girlfriend, was awarded a service ribbon. The San Diego Police Department honored 9 officers and 2 detectives from their department who were vacationing separately in Las Vegas. Detective Michael Vo and officers Thomas McGrath, Mark Williams, Max Verduzco, and Richard Barton received the Medal of Valor for their actions in treating the wounded, creating escape routes, and shielding concertgoers. McGrath was also presented the Life-Saving Medal by Jonathan Smith, a civilian who survived a gunshot wound to the neck due to McGrath's quick actions. Detective Scott Gosnell and officers Caitlin Milligan, Eric Hansen, Brian Johnson, William Hernandez Jr., and Braden Wilson received the department's Exceptional Performance Citation for assisting concertgoers and helping them escape the venue. Investigations. Early reports. Officials from the FBI and the ATF responded to assist in the investigation. According to authorities with the Clark County Commission, the name, October 1st, was declared the official title for investigations into the mass shooting. Investigators found hidden surveillance cameras that were placed inside and outside the hotel room, presumably so Paddock could monitor the arrival of others. The cameras were not in record mode. Police said a handwritten note found in the room indicated Paddock had been calculating the distance, wind, and trajectory from his 32nd floor hotel suite to the concertgoers he was targeting on the festival lot. At a press conference on October 4th, Clark County Sheriff Joe Lombardo stated there was evidence, which he declined to discuss, that Paddock intended to escape the scene and that he may have had assistance from an accomplice. Investigators searched Paddock's room and found a bulletproof vest and breathing apparatus, neither of which was used by Paddock. There have been several changes in the official account and timeline of Paddock's shooting of hotel security guard Campos. Police officials described these adjustments as minute changes that are common in complex investigations. In their first statement about the incident, police officials inaccurately reported that Campos arrived on the scene after Paddock began firing into the crowd. In a second statement, police officials reported, again inaccurately, that Campos was shot 6 minutes before Paddock began firing into the crowd. That report had been based on a 9:59 p.m. notation in a hotel security log, which in a third statement was determined to have been the time when Campos encountered the barricaded door. Sheriff Lombardo dismissed allegations that the changing timeline was the result of some kind of conspiracy between the police department, the FBI, and MGM Resorts International, saying, "Nobody is attempting to hide anything about this investigation. The dynamics and the size of this investigation require us to go through voluminous amounts of information to draw an accurate picture." Preliminary investigation. The Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department released a preliminary report on the event on January 18, 2018. Police speculate that Paddock acted alone and have not determined his motive. No links have been identified to any hate groups, terrorist groups, or ideologies, and he did not record a reason for his actions. On February 2, 2018, Douglas Haig, an Arizona ammunition dealer, was charged in a Nevada federal court with conspiracy to manufacture and sell armor-piercing ammunition without a license after his fingerprints were discovered on unfired armor-piercing ammunition inside Paddock's suite. He was sentenced in June 2020 to 13 months in prison. Final investigative report. On August 3, 2018, Clark County Sheriff Joe Lombardo held a press conference on the release of the LVMPD Criminal Investigative Report of the October 1st mass casualty shooting. He said the 10-month investigation had revealed no evidence of conspiracy or a second gunman, and that the gunman's motive had not been determined. Lombardo said, "What we have been able to answer are the questions of who, what, when, where, and how. What we have not been able to definitively answer is why Stephen Paddock committed this act." A report published by the FBI's Behavioral Analysis Unit in January 2019 said that there was no single or clear motivating factor for the shooting. Aftermath. Misinformation, fake news, and conspiracy theories. Following the shooting, misinformation and fake news about the shooter's identity and motive went viral on social media. A 4chan/poll/thread, which misidentified the shooter and described him as a registered Democrat, was briefly featured in the top stories section of a Google search for the alleged shooter's name. This was further circulated by several websites, including being shared briefly on the Gateway Pundit. The fake news website Your News Wire spread false information about a second gunman purportedly shooting from the 4th floor of the hotel. 2 of Facebook's top trending pages were items from Sputnik, a Russian government news agency. These included one story that falsely claimed the FBI had linked the shooter to a terrorist group. The stories were later removed from Sputnik with an apology. Stories linking the shooter to the Antifa movement have also been discredited. The terrorist group Islamic State of Iraq and Syria, ISIS, claimed that Paddock was its soldier who had answered Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi's call to attack coalition country citizens. ISIS provided no evidence for this, had previously released multiple false claims of responsibility for other incidents, and no such link was discovered by the FBI. Google and Facebook were criticized for displaying such false news stories in some of their search results. Alexis Madrigal of The Atlantic accused the two technology companies of failing in their responsibility to keep these from reaching the public. Facebook later said its algorithms were designed to detect and remove false stories, but failed to work adequately in this instance. Survivors of the shooting have been accused of being crisis actors, and some have received death threats on social media. Conspiracy theorists have claimed that there were multiple shooters and that details of the massacre are being covered up for the sake of promoting gun control laws. After some media outlets reported that YouTube search results for information about the shooting returned links to conspiracy videos, YouTube said it had tweaked its search algorithm to promote news sources that it considered more authoritative. Political scientist Joseph Osinski suggested the removal of this content ironically fuels conspiracy theories by making a cover-up seem evident. The Welcome to Fabulous Las Vegas sign was adorned with flowers on October 9, 2017, a week after the shooting. Responses. Nevada Governor Brian Sandoval called the shooting a tragic and heinous act of violence that has shaken the Nevada family. Jason Aldean, who was singing when the shooting started, posted his condolences on Instagram and noted all of those working with him at the show had survived the attack. President Trump and First Lady Melania visiting a hospitalized victim. At a press conference, U.S. President Donald Trump described Paddock as a very, very sick individual and a demented man with a lot of problems and described the event as an act of pure evil. He added, "The police department has done such an incredible job, and we'll be talking about gun laws as time goes by." A White House official talking points memo, distributed to Trump allies, opposed tightening gun control since new laws won't stop a madman, but will curtail the freedoms of law-abiding citizens. 132. On October 2nd, Trump proclaimed to honor the victims and their families. On October 4th, Trump visited the shooting victims and first responders. A unity prayer walk and ceremony was held in Las Vegas on October 7th in honor of the dead. Speakers at the ceremony included Vice President Mike Pence and Las Vegas Mayor Carolyn Goodman. On the evening of October 15th, thousands participated in a commemorative 3-mile, 5 kilometers, walk between Circus Circus and Mandalay Bay. The annual Rock and Roll Las Vegas Marathon took place on November 12th and was the largest event to be held in the city since the shooting. The event received a massive amount of security, which included counter-sniper surveillance posts, 350 police officers, and several barriers composed of dump trucks, buses, and other large vehicles. The expansion Vegas Golden Knights of the NHL held a tribute to the victims and honored response personnel before their inaugural home game on October 10th. Later during the season, the number 58 became the first number in team history to be retired, chosen for the 58 people who died immediately or within days of the shooting. The Mandalay Bay Resort renumbered its floors, skipping floor 32. Rooms 32 to 135 and 32 to 134, the rooms rented out by Paddock, were sealed off and made inaccessible to guests. The future of the Las Vegas Village remained undetermined until September 2019. 142, MGM Resorts International had announced that they intended to create a community center which would host sporting events. 143. In 2021, MGM Resorts donated 2 acres of the land for a permanent memorial to the victims and survivors and sold the remaining 13 acres to 3 affiliated tribes for an undisclosed sum in 2022. In March 2019, Las Vegas police officer Cordell Hendricks, who did not immediately respond to the gunfire but had remained on the floor below Paddock, was fired for his inaction. 146. He was reinstated a year later following an arbitrator's ruling. Gun control discussion. The shooting prompted support in Congress for assault weapons legislation that would ban bump stocks. Many congressional Democrats and some Republicans expressed support. House leaders said the issue of bump stock regulation should be decided by the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms, which originally approved bump stocks. The National Rifle Association, NRA, came out in favor of administrative bump stock regulations. Firearms retailers reported increased consumer interest in bump stocks. On November 6, 2017, Massachusetts became the first state to ban the sale, possession, or use of the devices. In December 2018, acting United States Attorney General Matthew Whitaker signed a regulation banning bump stocks in the U.S., effective March 2019. The regulation bans new sales and requires current owners to surrender or destroy existing bump stocks. 18 Democratic U.S. senators introduced a bill, the Keep Americans Safe Act, which would ban gun magazines that hold more than 10 rounds of ammunition. Stock prices of firearms manufacturers rose the day after the shooting, as has happened after similar incidents. Investors expected gun sales to increase over concerns that such an event could lead to more stringent gun control legislation, and possibly due to a rush of customers wishing to defend themselves against future attacks, but firearm sales did not increase after the shooting. Legal proceedings. In November 2017, a lawsuit was filed on behalf of 450 of the victims of the shooting, which claimed that the Mandalay Bay Hotel had shown negligence by allowing Paddock to bring a large amount of weaponry into the building. In July 2018, MGM Resorts International countersued hundreds of victims, claiming that it had no liability of any kind for the attack, under a 2002 federal law passed in the wake of the September 11th attacks. On October 3, 2019, MGM Resorts reached a settlement of $800 million with the victims of the shooting, which was approved by a judge on September 30, 2020. Thousand Oaks shooting. Main article. Thousand Oaks shooting. Several people who were at the scene of the shooting when it occurred were also present during a November 2018 mass shooting at the Borderline Bar and Grill in Thousand Oaks, California, which left 13 dead, including the gunman. One person said the number of Las Vegas survivors at the bar may have been as high as 164. It was confirmed that a survivor of the Las Vegas shooting had died in the Thousand Oaks shooting.